scene.
When you think you've seen it all in boxing.
Sabalenka being crowned champion, once again showing the world why he is the greatest.
Left hook on the temple, unbelievable.
We start with a special showcase bout.
It's an absolute monster of a lightweight. What a moment! The history-making goal!
She wasn't going for goal, but she'll happily accept it.
It's gone all the way through, and look at this! Chewing Did you dare write Barcelona off?
The career of one of the all-time greats is all but over.
Nice comeback.
Uma oportunidade de dizer alguma coisa que eu acho que nunca disse.
NFL Game Pass is now exclusively on DAZN.
Let's get this thing going.
Watch every game, plus the playoffs and Super Bowl. It's your all-access pass.
That's how you fight a southpaw. Well on his way to coming back.
Katie Taylor does it again. Look at the emotion.
We are in Southern California at the historic, iconic Chinese Theater. And as beautiful as it is inside, come on, we got to be under the beautiful California sunshine. We're live from Hollywood. The press conference starts now.
Live on DAZN, August 3rd, Crawford versus Madrimov. How do you know you're the best? Is it the 40-fight undefeated streak? Dominating 3 divisions? Or is it that you're always looking for more? Facing an undefeated champion on the #1 boxing platform in the world, Crawford versus Madrimov. August 3rd, buy now at TAZN.com.
We are live, ladies and gentlemen, from beautiful Hollywood. Hollywood. It's blah, blah, blah. Forgot the rest. But there's the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Hollywood Boulevard, perhaps the most famous of all the streets here in the United States. And, of course, there it is, the Chinese Theater, and plenty of glitz and glamour on display Saturday night. A boxing card for the ages, headlined by Crawford versus Madrimov. And with that, we say hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Todd Grisham. To my left, the man who will not be defined by any dress code. Let his fashion fly. Sean Porter, the Latin Snake, of course, and Chris Mannix. Sergio, this is your home territory, a little bit on the other side of the train tracks, East LA. But what do you make of the Riyadh season hitting Southern California?
It does not get bigger. I mean, welcome to California, boys. First, we're at the Santa Monica Pier. Now we're at the Hollywood with the stars are on the sidewalk, for God's sake. Tomorrow in downtown LA doesn't get bigger, brighter, or better for two boxers on the big stage.
Yeah, you talk about bigger and better. Doesn't get much bigger or better than Crawford versus Madrimov. You've been in the ring with Bud. What kind of fight do you think we're going to see?
It's going to be a fun fight to watch. It's going to be exciting. Madrimov is one of those guys, he doesn't like to be denied. He's going to keep trying to push those buttons and keep trying to be aggressive towards Terence Crawford. And Terence really just trying to, people always say, downloading information, just trying to figure out, all right, what do I need to do to defeat this guy? You know what I mean? Once he finds that sword and pulls it out, it's going to get even more fun.
I mentioned how great the card is top to bottom. 6 fights on the main card, including 2 heavyweight bouts that could be headliners in their own right.
Yeah, these 2 fights are slobber knockers, to say the least. You've got 4 guys in the heavyweight division who are all looking to take a step forward, have a big opportunity on this card. You begin with Jared Anderson against Martin Bakole. Jared Anderson, probably the best hope that the Americans have to have another heavyweight champion. He takes on Martin Bakole, who's one of the biggest punchers in the heavyweight division. Then you have Israil Miller back again on the big stage, taking on Andy Ruiz. It was just about 5 years ago, guys, that Andy Ruiz took Israil Miller's spot in Madison Square Garden and beat Anthony Joshua. Israil Miller is hoping to start his comeback by beating the guy that took what he wanted.
Hey, how about the co-main event, Sergio? Mexico versus Mexico. It's the return of Pitbull Cruz versus Valenzuela, who you think is a live dog in that fight.
Valenzuela is definitely a live dog, a tall southpaw. And that's what gave issues to Pitbull in his last fight with Cabrera when he fought Cabrera. So I think that might be his MO. And look, whenever you have a team like Robert Garcia in your corner and a game plan, it's a motivation. LA, Mexican, can't get better.
Yeah, it is the card of the year. Speaking of can't get better, here's a reason why you should be a part of Saturday night.
2 champions, undefeated. In one corner, a superstar, a living legend with GOAT status.
Terence Crawford is an all-time great.
Climbing 3 weight divisions, it's incredible. If you go to the 4th, then you're hitting legendary status.
Now that I moved up in weight, challenging Israil Madrimov, he's a tough opponent.
Will his power carry up? We don't quite know.
We both got a lot to lose in this fight.
And the other, a dark horse with illustrious past. From a glittering amateur career, he moved into the professional realm.
He's seen about every type of fighter you can see growing up through the amateur ranks.
Crawford, I see, yes, okay, no problem.
I'm not Errol Spence, I'm Israil Madrimov.
This belt coming to Uzbekistan.
He got the title, but I got the name.
Do not count out the man from Uzbekistan.
You're talking about a fresh fighter that is in his absolute prime in Israil Madrimov.
We are making history.
Madrimov is going to be the underdog.
He's fighting arguably the best pound-for-pound fighter on the planet.
He got what I want, and I got what he wants. Labeled as one of the top fighters in the sport.
Terence Crawford already has a Hall of Fame resume.
To become that, you got to go through Terence Crawford.
I do believe Madrimov has what it takes.
This is my division.
He's ready for war in Los Angeles on August 3rd.
This would be the biggest win of Terence Crawford's career.
I'm gunning for him August 3rd.
Comes to you live exclusively on DAZN from the home of LAFC, the MLS soccer team, BMO Stadium. By the way, Sergio, my mom just texted me and said she wanted to see my face and had to take the sunglasses off. So,
all right, Mom.
Yeah. People would think you're hungover if you kept those on. All right, Sean. Big fight night on Saturday. Press conference today. This fight week has had a lot more buzz than normal. Expecting anything exciting today here?
You know, the funny thing about big crowds, they kind of get us fighters going. You know what I mean? So I actually think that we're going to get a little bit more from the guys on stage than we normally would. It's fun out here. It's been fun the whole way. I think we really got everybody ramped up for what they need to do on the stage today.
Chris, not a lot of big trash talkers on the dais, except for maybe Israil Miller, who always loves to talk.
You know, Israil Miller is really excited to be back part of this mix. He's had a rough go of it over the last few years, a lot of it of his own making, but now he gets an opportunity to put himself right back into that heavyweight picture. He gets it against Andy Ruiz, who is trying to make kind of a comeback of his own. It's been almost 2 years since we last saw Andy Ruiz in the ring. He got a win over Luis Ortiz. He's been dealing with some personal issues of his own, but he is now motivated to get back to becoming the heavyweight champion of the world. And the winner of that fight between Miller and Ruiz, I think going to put themselves in the picture for another big fight for the end of the year and maybe a world title shot in 2025.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've been told it is showtime as we get set to begin our press conference here live from Hollywood Boulevard. Let's turn things over to Mr. Thomas Schreiber.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the press conference for Riyadh season card. A great night of World Championship Boxing this Saturday, August 3rd from BMO Stadium in Los Angeles, California. It is all being brought to you by Riyadh Season and the General Entertainment Authority, GIA, and promoted by Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing, Sella, Gold Star Promotions, and Frank Warren for Queensberry Promotions. This great event will be shown in the United States on DAZN, ESPN Plus pay-per-view, Amazon Prime, and In Demand. In the UK on DAZN and TNT Sports Box Office. In Mexico on Televisa and ESPN Knockout. In Saudi Arabia on MBC and worldwide on DAZN. At this time, we would like to extend a big thank you to the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, and His Excellency, Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, GIA, Turki Al-Sheikh. Let's get the press conference part 1 of 3 started and welcome our participants, beginning with the fighters. Mikhail Bulin. Ziad Zizo Almayou. Marcos Ramon Vasquez. Stephen So Cold Nelson. Antonio Tonio Moran. Andy El Diamante Cruz. Radivoje Hot Rod Kalajic. David Mordell. We now welcome Mr. Spencer Brown of Gold Star Promotions. Promoter, Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. And now, here is your host, Eddie Oladipo.
Thomas, thank you very, very much. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the press conference here at the Chinese Theatre for Riyadh Season LA, our first international Riyadh Season event, and we can see by the turnout, it's a big one. You know, Riyadh Season, as it pertains to boxing, was never just about putting on the best fights, or fights that have been historically difficult to make, or even fights that fans have wanted to see. What Riyadh Season was about was putting on events. Events that would be remembered, events not just for boxing fans, for all sports fans around the world. For so many years, boxing has been a sport just for boxing fans. And the question has been, how do we get more eyeballs on the sport that we all love? Through Riyadh Season, we've tried to push the boundaries out a bit. We've done concerts with some of the biggest artists in the world. We do free boxing events for everyone to attend, as we saw yesterday, Santa Monica Pier. An incredible event, turned out by thousands of people. Everyone stayed to the end. We do incredible promotional videos. We've seen that. Just so fight fans and fighters can get a new audience. And we've done some incredible documentaries, more of that to come as well. We listen to the fans, the most important people, and we try our hardest to deliver. And what we've delivered in such a short space of time, I think we can all agree, has been incredible. Let's rewind October last year, Battle of the Baddest. What was called by many a bit of a gimmick fight, Tyson Fury, the WBC heavyweight champion at the time, versus Francis Ngannou, the former UFC heavyweight champion. Ngannou this close to pulling off one of the biggest upsets I think we've ever seen in the sport of boxing. We fast forward December, Day of Reckoning, arguably the best heavyweight card we've ever seen. Some of the biggest names in the sport: Anthony Joshua, Deontay Wilder, Joseph Parker, Jarrell Miller, Daniel Dubois, and so many more. We then moved to March for Knockout Chaos. Francis Ngannou again trying his hand at boxing, this time against former unified heavyweight champion of the world, Anthony Joshua. It was also the night, let's not forget, where Israil Madrimov became world champion. And then we went to May, the big one, Ring of Fire, a fight that a lot of people said, you know what, wasn't going to happen. The undisputed heavyweight title fight between Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk. Broke records by so many different metrics, an incredible spectacle. And fingers crossed we get to see that fight. No injuries again in December. And then what we always wanted to see as fight fans, stable versus stable, and we got it in June. 5 versus 5, Eddie Hearn versus Frank Warren, Matchroom versus Queensberry. Eddie Hearn's here, so we'll move on from that very, very quickly. And here we are now, this Saturday, August 3rd, BMO Stadium. How do we top what we've done before? Look, it's not going to be easy, right? Because what we've done before has been incredible. But this is Riyadh season, and we like to try and do things that we think are incredible. That's why we've put on what we believe is one of the best fight cards we've ever seen in this country. Topped by one of the best fighters in Terence Crawford that we've ever seen in this country. And if you're not entertained by that, we have one of the best rap artists we've ever seen in Eminem doing his thing as well on the night. Before I pass on to Eddie, what I want to try and say, I want to simplify it. We listen to the fighters, we listen to the fight fans, and we deliver. And that's what this is all about, Riyadh season. Delivering incredible events. We've done it before, and I promise you that we're going to do it again this Saturday. Eddie?
Thanks, Eddie. Yeah, said so much there and so much to cover. Of course, we want to thank the Crown Prince and, of course, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh for his passion, his belief to take Riyadh season from what it was in Riyadh, in Saudi Arabia, to what it is, a global phenomenon for boxing showcased around the world. I remember the cards that started in Riyadh, and when His Excellency saw responses from fans around the world, we'd love one of those in our country. First comes August the 3rd in Los Angeles. The debate continues. Is this the greatest fight card in American boxing history? For me, the answer is yes. Just over a month's time, around 100,000 people at Wembley Stadium for Anthony Joshua against Daniel Dubois for Riyadh season, London. The movement is incredible. The passion for sport is incredible. And we're all familiar with 4 seasons. Well, now there's another season, Riyadh season. And it's no longer October to March in Riyadh. It's global. And Riyadh season is represented around the world with incredible passion and quality from the teams with His Excellency and Seller. Thanks, of course, to this amazing moment in boxing where so many promoters are coming together. Thanks, of course, to Frank Warren and Queensberry and Spencer Brown, who's worked so hard on these Riyadh season events, and all the other promoters here today. Finally, boxing is coming together to give you the greatest matchups. And on Saturday night, you have, as we said, the greatest fight card we've ever seen. BMO Stadium is going to be a spectacle for fight fans and sports fans around the world with an incredible night of boxing. On this table, of course, Ziad, who represents the sport so well for Saudi Arabia, Stone Cold, Steve Nelson, part of the Terence Crawford team, and in my opinion, 2 of the best, not just Cuban fighters of all times, but pound-for-pound fighters. Andy Cruz, the Olympic champion, already, in my opinion, arguably the best 135-pounder in the world. He's got a tough fight against Antonio Moran. And this man, you know, shout out as well to Louis de Cubas and Leon as well, Warriors. This guy, I think he's the sleeping giant of boxing. David Morrell, I think he's one of the most dangerous, feared men in the sport. At 168 pound, he won a world title, now challenges Hot Rod in a firefight for the 175-pound WBA championship. Tremendous talent from top to bottom. And thank you to His Excellency Seller, Dr. Rakan, everybody that gives us such passion for the sport that we love. And on Saturday night in Los Angeles, you will see a historic moment for sport in this country, around the world. Riyadh season, Los Angeles will blow your mind.
It certainly will. Eddie Hearn, thank you very much, and well said about the two Cuban fighters there as well. Fantastic talent. We are going to hear from them very quickly. We kick things off on Saturday evening. This is our prelim fight. It is Ziad Al-Mayouf versus Michael Bullock. It is time to hear from the fighters, and we'll start first with Michael Bullock. Michael, Riyadh season has always been about giving fighters opportunities. You get your opportunity here, a massive card in LA. You kick things off. How excited are you to be in LA and fighting on Riyadh season?
Oh, I'm very excited to be here and get opportunity to show my skills on the big gal, so I can show you best dance in the ring when I be in between the ropes. So thank you for everything, and I came here.
Ziad Al-Mayouf is a big favorite, Michael. How do you stop, or how do you get that victory over Ziad on Saturday?
I don't know, you know, it's a boxing. We're gonna see what's happened. I wanna show my best skills, and we see what's happened in the ring. If gonna be opportunity, I wanna finish fight first in the third round, maybe. We're gonna see what's happened.
I like it. I like when fighters pick rounds. It's good. It's confidence. Ziad Al-Mayouf, you're nodding as you hear that. This is a dream come true for you. Again, I think your story is absolutely fantastic, and here you are on a Terence Crawford card in LA. You're out here, you're representing your country, you're representing your gym. What does it feel like in this moment for you?
First of all, I just want to thank the custodian of the two holy mosques, the King, His Royal Highness, the Crown Prince, for the faith in me to be a flag bearer in such a revolutionary time for the kingdom, and also His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh for the opportunity and the unprecedented support. It's funny you say, I just love the story. I love the story I'm in because this is a multi-generational story that I'm living right now. Every generation you get the power puncher. Every generation you get the fast one, the slick one, but it's only multi-generational where you get the history maker, the superhero, the symbol, representing not only a state or a city, but a country in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, or even a whole side of the world in the Arab world. And I just love making history, and I want to make history again come Saturday night, becoming the first ever Saudi Arabian professional boxer to fight in the US. But more importantly, I want to become the first of many. This isn't for me. What I'm doing right now is not for me, it's for the fighters who are going to come after me in Saudi Arabia and in the Arab world, where we get to see them shine bigger and better. But hopefully I continue that historical story of becoming the first world champion, first unified, undisputed, and you never know, just become the people's champ. For the people, by the people.
I think you already are the people's champion. Well said, Ziad Al-Mayouf. You are training now with Buddy McGirt. Ziad, what's that like training with a Hall of Fame trainer?
It's a dream come true, you know. For anyone who doesn't know, when I first moved to the US in 2019, I was in my college dorm room, and to be fully honest, before I knew Buddy McGirt was still alive, I used to study his jab. I used to study his jab in my dorm room. I have him mentioned on my Instagram story 3 years before I met Buddy McGirt. COVID hits, gym closed down, gyms all over the state closed down. We find the gym that's open, you know, behind closed doors. I walk in, and then walks in months later, the loudest person in the room, Buddy McGirt. I start sparring his guys. I get my behind handed to me for about a year, but then I start making my way up and keep coming back. And before you know it, Buddy McGirt is my coach 3 years after I studied him alone past midnight in my college dorm room, studying his jab, his jab, his jab. And the first thing he complimented about me was my jab. So if this isn't written in the stars, I don't know what is.
Incredible story, and look where we are now. Ziad Al-Mayouf versus Michael Bullock will open the card on Saturday. A fantastic fight in the super middleweight division, excuse me. Two guys unbeaten. As you know the phrase, someone's O has got to go. Steve Nelson versus Marcos Ramon Vasquez. I want to come to you first, Steve. You've almost been the guy that a lot of people have been talking about behind the scenes. And we've been waiting for you to come out in the front. You're doing it now on a good friend of yours, Terence Crawford's card. What does it mean to be on such a big card for you?
First off, I want to make a correction. Eddie, it's Loco. I know I'm not a superstar yet, but
everybody need to know it's so cold, not stone cold. But to be on this card, I think, everybody who put this card together, the Zone, Eddie, Turkey, and to be on this card, it's a blessing. We train every day. I've been training next to Bud since I started boxing. I had a late start at age 21 back in 2010, and to be here and to be in front of everybody to display my talent, it's amazing.
You've been asking for a step up. I've seen your interviews. You said, okay, look, put me in there with someone that I can showcase my skills. You've got an unbeaten fighter in Marcus Vazquez. Do you feel like this will be that coming out party where you do showcase to everyone in the super middleweight division just how dangerous you can be?
Yes, definitely, man. Like this year, it's about halfway through, and it's been a tough year for me. So, I'm usually the guy that's joking and playful and happy, but right now I got a lot of tension I got let out. And I'm sorry to the opponent, he the one who got picked. It's nothing personal to him, but it's personal for me. I have a lot to let go, and he's going to be the one I'm going to do it on.
Marcus, very similar to Steve. You've been asking for a big fight as well. You've been asking for the step up. You're unbeaten as well. What do you make of your opponent, Steve Nelson?
Buenas tardes. Primero que nada, gracias a toda la gente que está aquí el día de hoy. Agradecido también con Brandon de Viva Promotion, con Mushroom, por darme la oportunidad de estar aquí en un gran evento. Vengo de Tijuana, representado en Tijuana. Vengo de una colonia que se llama Mariano Matamoros. El venir de allá y estar en un lugar como este en este momento para mí es una gran motivación a representar a Tijuana. He pensado en estas noches que estaba en el hotel, he pensado muchas cosas por las que he pasado, de dónde vengo, cosas que han pasado en mi familia, cosas personales, y eso me llena de gran fuerza, de gran motivación. Sé el reto que tengo delante de mí, pero confío en la preparación que hice, confío en todos estos años que he trabajado fuerte, confío en mi equipo de trabajo, confío en toda la gente que me apoya. Tengo mucha gente que me apoya, mi familia principalmente, y estoy aquí vine a ganar, no vengo del Mariano Matamoros de Tijuana a perder, yo vengo a ganar, y viva Tijuana, viva México.
Okay, first of all, thanks for everyone who's put the show on, in particular to His Excellency Turki Al Sheikh. What I'd like to say is that I'm a guy from Tijuana, just down the road, and people from Tijuana don't come into fights like this to lose, yeah? I've come here, I've got the full backing of my support team, my coaches. We've put in a tremendous amount of work to build up for this. I know what an absolute pleasure this is to be here, and an honour. I'm proud to be part of such a fantastic, momentous occasion. And as I say, we come here to do the business, and I want to take the title back to Tijuana and to my family.
Jose, thank you very much. Marcos, thank you. Fantastic fight in the super middleweight division. Again, two unbeaten fighters. Steve Nelson versus Marcos Ramon Vazquez. We now move into the lightweight division, one of the most stacked divisions in boxing. And Eddie Hearn would say that he's probably got the best lightweight in the world right now. And that man is Andy Cruz, who takes on Antonio Moran. Andy Cruz, we get to see you again. Obviously, you know how exciting Eddie Hearn is about you. What are you expecting from Antonio Moran on Saturday?
Entonces, está bien verte de nuevo, un gusto para todos nosotros, y Eddie también tiene muchas ganas de verte luchar, pelear otra vez. ¿Qué estás esperando de la pelea de sábado del rival Antonio Moran?
No, primeramente darle las gracias a todos los presentes acá. Van a ser testigos de una de las carteleras más duras del año. Darle las gracias a mi equipo de trabajo por darme la oportunidad de estar aquí, a Eddie, the best promoter del mundo, y decirles que no voy a hablar mucho, vine preparado para dar un espectáculo y simplemente decirles que el ring dirá la última palabra.
Okay, first of all, thanks ever so much to Eddie and to everyone else for putting this on, and a big thank you to my team as well, my coaching team. We've prepared really well also. You know, I'm honoured, I'm excited, and I'm really pleased and happy to be part of the biggest bill in boxing this year, possibly you could say, yeah? I'm not one for talking too much. I think that I'm ready. I think it's better to leave any predictions and talking, because it's always the ring that decides the outcome.
Very, very true. Although Andy Cruz did say that he thinks he's going to get a fifth round stoppage, yeah?
Pero has dicho, Andy, que ibas a pararle en el quinto, ¿no? Anoche estuve aquí yo también.
Sí, por supuesto. Voy a mejorar lo que hizo Devin Haney.
Yeah, I'm going to try and beat what I did against Devin Haney for sure, yeah.
Let's welcome in Antonio Moran. Antonio, when you hear that kind of talk, that he's going to try and do better than Devin Haney, do you find it disrespectful? Do you find maybe that he's underestimating your professional experience?
Antonio, cuando escuchas este tipo de frases, marca una falta de respeto y de tus habilidades y tu técnica. Dinos la palabra.
Buenas tardes. Primero que nada, muy agradecido de estar aquí en esta cartelera muy importante. Como lo dijo Andy, ¿no? Es una de las mejores que va a haber en el año. Y respecto a lo que dice, pues no, yo creo que en el boxeo se habla más en el ring que abajo, ¿no? No soy el mismo que peleó con David Haney hace 5 años. Es más fácil, ¿no? Venimos preparados, venimos motivados. He pasado muchas cosas más fáciles esta pelea, y entonces mental y físicamente venimos al 100 y pasados.
No, thank you first of all to everyone. I'd just like to say how grateful I am for the opportunity to take part, as everyone's saying, such a massive event. Again, I'm not one for talking too much. I think in the game of boxing, perhaps it's more important to do your talking in the ring rather than in places like this, down here, out of the ring. What I would say is that I've gone through a lot, and I've progressed a lot as a fighter since that fight with Devin. I would say that I'm absolutely 100% raring to go, and we'll see what happens on the night.
Thank you very much, Antonio Moran. Andy Cruz versus Antonio Moran. Remember, it's for the IBF International Lightweight title. Let's move now to the light heavyweight division, which has been ruled for the last few years by Dimitri Bivol and Artur Beterbiev, but we have a few more names now in that division. One of those names is the man to my right, David Morrell, who I think was one of the best 168-pound fighters. He now moves up to 175 pounds and chases those big fights. He will have to get through a very, very good fighter in Hot Rod Galadzic. But David, you must be excited, a new division. You chased Benavidez in the 168-pound division. Now it looks like you're chasing him in the 175-pound division.
Contento de tener esta oportunidad. Habías buscado al boxeador en la otra división, pero contento ahora de tener esa oportunidad 175.
First, I thank everybody for coming. Thanks, World Boxing, Turkey, like everybody, everything is possible. I'm here. Thanks, the Martin too, everybody. Of course, yeah, I follow him. Like him, and 168. Everybody excuse me, no want to fight me. So I'm going to 175 because for the new fight, the new opponent, for the big name, for everything. You know, I want everything 175. Not supposed to be 168, but I'm coming out for 175 for this. That's it.
Hot Rod, you've been in a world title fight before against Artur Beterbiev. Since that defeat, you've gone unbeaten. You've had some fantastic wins. A lot of people are thinking that David Morrell's already won this fight. You've been in some big fights. Do you feel like you're maybe being underestimated a little bit going into this one?
Yeah, I do. I believe I'm a big, they got me like 10-1 underdog, and I don't believe in that, so I'm trying to show them on Saturday night.
How good, and look, you're a boxing aficionado, you would have stopped at David Morrell. How good do you think David Morrell is as a fighter? And when you look at him now, do you feel like, as he was a big 168, he's just a normal size 175-pounder?
I'm not even looking at the size, but regardless, he's good. He's got skill.
power, everything. So it's going to be a tough fight, but we're ready for it. And like he said, I believe he's one of the best at 168. And now he's in the light heavyweight weight class. And I'm just ready for Saturday night.
David, final one to you. At 168 pounds, you were dominant, loads of stoppages. Are you expecting the same on Saturday night? Are you expecting to get a stoppage over Hot Rod?
A 168 dominabas la división, muchas peleas antes del límite. ¿Estás esperando algo parecido el sábado?
I'm not going to the fight for knockout. No, I'm ready for fight the 12th round, but the knockout is coming to first. Like I'm ready, you know. Like everybody know, like I'm really ready for 175. I feel good, mentally, physically, everything. So I think so. The knockout coming like the first, the 12th round. Like, I'm for him is that the good boxer. I want to fight him like the Cuban guys before me. So. It's the good boxer, but I'm ready. You know, I'm ready. I mean, I think so that the knockout coming before the 12th round.
Okay, again, a lot of guys here predicting knockouts. We'll see how this one plays out. David Morrell versus Hot Rod Kaladzic. Remember, it's for the vacant WBA World Light Heavyweight title. The fighters are now going to face off. This concludes part one of the press conference. Let's throw it back in the studio to Todd.
So, ladies and gentlemen, they will now stare down, and we get to talk over them staring down. We get to build the drama here in Hollywood. Sean, you're a good actor. Are you ready to do some voice acting?
Oh, boy. Well, listen, I got to do a whole lot of voice acting because I don't think there's much going on over here.
You know what I like, Todd? The fact that two Cubans, normally Cubans are expert boxers, but the two Cubans on board, David Morrell and Andy Cruz, are predicting knockouts. Love seeing that.
And here's Chris Mannix's #1 fan in the stare down. Tell a story, Chris.
Look, Ziad is a very good young fighter, undefeated, fights out of Los Angeles, Saudi-born, and really excited all week long about this opportunity to fight on this card. He was supposed to have his pro debut in Los Angeles. That was scrapped at the last minute. Now he gets a chance to fight here on the biggest card of the year.
And he told you it's every Arab boxer's dream to one day be interviewed by
I
you,
always
right?
knew I was huge in the Middle East.
And here comes so cold, not stone cold, Sean.
Man, we had to explain that to Ale the other day. It's too cold, and he's a really good boxer. He's got some power, and he's bringing all that. And as he said on stage, it's personal for him. So I'm really, really curious to see what kind of energy comes out of Steve on fight night, man. He's got a lot of energy, a lot of charisma, and some power. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, great opportunity for Nelson in this fight to fight on this card. I think the boxing purist out there, the one that knows boxing, knows all about it. But now this is a chance for him to get a little bit of mainstream attention and really establish himself in this weight class.
The other side of that, though, from a matchmaking standpoint, this is a 50-50 fight because Marcos is not coming in here to lay down. And that's always trouble.
That part of the undercard, Saturday Night Live from BMO Stadium, the home of LAFC's, the MLS soccer team. And now this is a pretty interesting matchup because we've got Andy Cruz, who's promised to beat Moran quicker than Devin Haney did, and Devin Haney got the knockout of the year with that knockout.
Let me tell you, in fairness to Andy Cruz, I kind of walked him down that pathway the other day where I said, hey, man, Devin Haney got Antonio Moran out of there in the 6th round. You think you can do better? He said, yeah, I'm going to do it in 5. But that's what we need to see out of Andy Cruz. He's currently ranked in the top 10 by 3 of the 4 sanctioning bodies. But if he's going to make a splash and get one of those voluntary opportunities, you got to make yourself a television star. You got to do what Sergio Mora hates. You got to go for knockouts.
Is Andy Cruz the next big thing, Sergio?
He has the talent to be the next big thing. He has the swag, the look. I mean, if he starts getting knockouts and turning heads, absolutely. And you know what I would love to hear? The fact that he says he wants to get the knockout before Devin Haney. I would love to see him get the knockout and get the fire in his eye. And you saying that, of course.
Man, DAZN has played that so many times. We asked Moran about it. We said, hey, how does it make you feel to see that knockout? And Chris, he had a great spirit about it. He said, now I just laugh.
Yeah, I mean, look, that has been played on every DAZN show open for the better part of the last 5 years.
And here comes David Morrell. big fights await him in the future, Sean, but he's got to handle his business on his first Riyadh season card Saturday night.
This is a tough opponent in front of him, but Morrell is, again, just like Andy Cruz, light years ahead of where he should be in terms of his experience as a professional. We're going to see it on Fight Night.
So we're going to reload the dais here in a few minutes with the next batch of fighters. Until then, let's get you pumped for Saturday night live from Los Angeles. Not just boxing on DAZN. We've got all sports, including esports. $60 million on the line. You can see it all month long here on DAZN. And it is, of course, the #1 boxing platform in the world today. And we've got one of the biggest fight cards in the history of the sport. And that sounds a little dramatic and a little Hollywood. But, Sean, am I reaching too far? The top to bottom, this could be the best we've ever seen?
Absolutely. I don't know. I'm not a boxing historian, but I can tell you from what I can see in terms of performance, these guys all perform. These guys all hit hard. These guys got everybody on the cards coming to win. Both sides, and that's what I really like. And on top of that, we got some true 50-50 fights.
Yeah, the only thing you can really compare it to are some of those Don King cards we saw in the 1990s, those pay-per-views that Don King loaded up with high-level talent. But even those Don King cards didn't have the type of talent in Fight 5 and 6 and 7, because if you get deeper down this card, you've still got the kind of fights that could easily main event on a show of their own.
Now, not only do we have boxing stars of today, but perhaps of tomorrow. We just saw David Morrell, Sergio. We didn't get really a chance to talk about him. How bright is his future? He looks like a killer.
Very bright, and he's moving up to a different division. I mean, this guy is big, he's strong, he's fast, and normally Cubans have that sniper style. You know, most of them are southpaws. He's aggressive. He goes for the knockouts, and he says that's the style that he learned. He learned from Mike Tyson, Roberto Duran, watching the greats get aggressive. So he has a Cuban style, the Cuban IQ, but he wants to brawl and put on a show. That's the best of both worlds. Morrell can be a star.
And the fact that he's come over here and he's really converted his mindset of being what the Americans know how to do. The Americans know how to perform, we know how to entertain, and we know, again, that knockout. The fact, like you said earlier, the fact that he's even mentioning a knockout opposed to winning on points, just winning the fight. That's what Cubans are known for. Going out there, outboxing you, outstyling you, and walking away with the victory. He's going beyond that. I love it.
And can I tell you what's really cool to see on that stage is David Morrell sitting next to Andy Cruz. These are two top-level amateurs that had hard roads out of Cuba, hard exits out of Cuba, had to really fight to earn these kind of opportunities. They have known each other since 2012. They were very good friends, but they have never, ever shared a card together as amateurs or pros. Now they get that opportunity, and I know they are both extremely excited to be here in LA together.
All right, and with that, we'll send it to Thomas Schreiber now for a special announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, let's welcome the chair of the California State Athletic Commission, Mr. Peter Villegas.
Hey, welcome, Los Angeles. On behalf of the California State Athletic Commission and our Executive Director, Andy Foster, welcome to this incredible event. Welcome to LA, the #1 sports city in the world. California, the 4th largest economy in the world. I want to thank Riyadh Season, Sella, His Excellency, Matchroom, Eddie Hearn, Steve Bash. The commission is ready to do our part in making sure that we have greatness this weekend. And we welcome all of you from around the world to LA to see where champions are made and where we win championships. Enjoy the weekend. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, part 2 of our 3 press conferences here today will begin shortly.
So there's your update from Thomas Triber. A couple more minutes to hear from these three very excellent pundits to my left. Sean Porter, the Latin Snake, Sergio Mora, and of course, Chris Mannix. I want to talk to you guys about the environment for Saturday, a little different. 93 degrees, I believe, is going to be the high on Saturday. This is an outside venue. What's different about fighting outside under the sun compared to inside?
You got something?
I hated it because listen, because look, normally it's the crowd that pumps up a fighter, but the sound gets lost in an open arena. So what is it, the crescendo getting, whatever the word is, the sound is not there. In the daylight, you're seeing your opponent. Normally you're fighting under the bright lights. You're fighting under the sun now. It gets a lot hotter. It's a lot different. I personally hated it.
I loved it. Let me tell you why. You grow up and you fight in gymnasiums. You grow up and you fight in little stadiums. You turn pro. It's always been in an enclosed atmosphere. The atmosphere is just different. You get to feel the weather and the energy. It moves around a little differently, and I think everybody's gonna be excited. If they haven't been over to the BMO yet, that's gonna amp it up. I mean, we've crossed off every T and dotted off every I.
Yeah, and it won't be a new experience for either one of these guys. Bud fought outside in the past. You two called a fight in Tulsa featuring Israil Madrimov, the middle of the street during a pandemic. So Madrimov has fought outside as well, but it does bring up the point of the atmosphere and how you deal with it all throughout the week, right? Like Terence Crawford has been there, done that. Last year, his fight against Errol Spence was as big a deal as you get in boxing. For Madrimov, this is entirely new. He has not had a fight week quite like this. He has not had an event like we're going to see on Saturday. Look, there can be some butterflies. It can be an adjustment, Sean, when you have those types of situations.
And to your point, the adjustment of fighting outside, when that temperature drops, main event fighters, they gotta be a little bit more aware of how to manage the internal temperature, because they gotta come out much hotter because you're gonna cool off, especially how long those announcements are. The other thing too, just something happens, the dew drops onto the ring. The ring's gonna be slippery through the night. It's gonna get more and more slippery. We saw that last night, so they're gonna have to manage some things. It's gonna be interesting.
Well, speaking of the environment, I think the loudest we'll hear the crowd, other than perhaps the Eminem concert, is the co-main event, Mexico versus Mexico. Not to mention we got Andy Ruiz as well, Sergio. This is your part of the country. What kind of fandom are we going to see at BMO?
Gracias, amigo. No, you gotta love it. Pitbull Cruz has become a star since coming up short against Tank Davis. I mean, Mexicans love him. He's a ticket seller. Of course, Andy Ruiz, the Mexican Rocky, as I labeled him, he's going to be a ticket seller. But Valenzuela is a live dog in this fight. I mean, he's hungry. He has a great trainer in his corner, Robert Garcia. He's a southpaw, a tall southpaw. We've seen Pitbull Cruz have trouble with tall southpaws in Cabrera when he squeaked out a split decision. I think this is going to be one of those fight of the nights. I keep saying fight of the night, but top to bottom, that's the truth. Every single fight is 50-50.
All right, well, let's hear now from some of those fighters, including Andy Ruiz and Pitbull Cruz, as we go back downstairs to the former professional wrestler, Thomas Triber. That's a true story.
Yeah.
What?
Ladies and gentlemen, our press conference continues for Riyadh season card. A great night of World Championship Boxing this Saturday, August 3rd, from BMO Stadium in Los Angeles, California. It is all being brought to you by Riyadh Season and the General Entertainment Authority, GIA, and promoted by Eddie Hearns, Matchroom Boxing, Frank Warren for Queensberry Promotions, Sella, and Gold Star Promotions. Let's now welcome the participants, beginning with the fighters. Martin Bakoli. Jared, the real big baby Anderson. Jarrell, big baby Miller.
The original.
Andy, the Destroyer Ruiz. Jose El Rayo Valenzuela. Isaac Pitbull Cruz. Mr. Spencer Brown of Gold Star Promotions. promoter, Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing. And now here is your host, Addy Oladipo.
Thomas, thank you very, very much. Here we go, part two. As you can see, we've gone up a level here. The big boys are here. Isaac Cruz is here defending his WBA World Super Lightweight title against this man, Jose Valenzuela. I've always said, for a fight card, you have to have the heavyweights. No matter what, you have to put a few of the big boys on, and we've got, I think, 4 of the best heavyweights on the planet on this card, and all 4 desperately need a win to go to that next level. That next level potentially could be a world title fight, either against Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk, Anthony Joshua, or Daniel Dubois. That's what's at stake for all the heavyweights on this card. And it is also a bit strange to have 2 big babies on the card as well. We'll get to that point very shortly. Eddie, that man to your right, Andy Ruiz, you know very, very well, caused you a big, big issue a few years ago, one of the biggest upsets in heavyweight boxing history. But how good is it to see Andy Ruiz and all the other guys, but Andy Ruiz in particular on this card, considering he's been out of the ring for 2 years?
Yeah, thanks for the memories, Addy, of that one. Look, I think the first press conference was fine for an undercard. Like, if I was doing this show, that's my undercard. Now we step up to part 2 of the press conference, and we look to my right and to my left, and we have individual fights that could headline any fight card on any platform, any network, any arena in the US. I think this just shows the depth of this card. And on one crazy week in New York a couple of months ago, when all the promoters from around the world come together to deliver this country the greatest fight card they've ever seen, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh probably added 2 or 3 fights too many. Then he went and added Eminem as well. That's another story to come later. But when I look to my right, look at these matchups. For me, Jared Anderson against Martin Bakole is one of the best heavyweight matchups of the year. This young man to my right may be the future of the heavyweight division. Certainly is in this country. Martin Bakole is underrated, somewhat unknown in some parts, but is a legitimate top 15, probably top 10 heavyweight. For me, that is a classic matchup of young prospect against serious heavyweight contender. That is a great fight. Andy Ruiz, so good to see him back. Such an asset to the heavyweight division. Broke our hearts on that horrible night for us at Madison Square Garden on June the 1st, 2019. Of course, we went back to rematch in Riyadh, which was a big moment for boxing in the Middle East and Saudi Arabia. And of course, Jarrell Big Baby Miller, a guy that's been through it all, ups and downs, and make no mistake, he must win this fight on Saturday. That is a classic heavyweight matchup between 2 big men that need to win desperately on Saturday. And this fight, made by PBC and Louis de Cubas, what a fight. 2 great Mexican fighters. Of course, the man to my right, Pitbull Cruz. You hear the reaction everywhere he goes. Today, last night at Santa Monica. This is one of the biggest stars now of Mexican and American boxing. Sean Gibbons and all the team in the house as well. One of the most exciting fighters on the planet. I'll tell you what, this is a banana skin with Jose Valenzuela. What a great fighter, skillful. And of course now trained by Robert Garcia, one of the best trainers in the world, with Bam and our team down there. This is a classic Mexican matchup on what is, in my opinion, the greatest fight card this country has ever seen. These 3 fights will set the BMO Stadium on fire on Saturday night. Do not miss it. What a night.
Yeah, well said. I think you look at the fighters on stage now, and I mean, any of these could have headlined this card, and this is just still the undercard. Obviously, we have Terence Crawford and Israil Madrimov to come to the stage, so it is an absolutely incredible fight card. Spencer, you've put on and helped put on some incredible heavyweight fight cards throughout Riyadh season. When you look at the heavyweights that are on stage now, it almost is just incredible to see what level we're going here with Riyadh season. I mean, Jared Anderson versus Martin Bakole is my pick for fight of the night, and then you've got Andy Ruiz Jr., former unified heavyweight champion, versus this man, Big Baby Miller. It's incredible, isn't it?
I just think it's the pinnacle of boxing, really. It's great to be in LA with such talent. And let me tell you something. Every Riyadh card we do, there's an upset. And there's always a big upset. And I'm looking at these fights thinking it's very, very 50-50. You know, Andy Ruiz is coming back. You know, we love him. He's fantastic. Let's see He's been out for 2 years. I think he's probably going to be as good as he ever was. I also think that Jared Anderson is the future of boxing, heavyweight boxing. And that's not just from me, that's from a few people I've spoken to. But of course, he's got to get past Martin Bakole, who's sitting next to me. And if anybody knows anything about Martin Bakole, this is a 6'6" smashing machine. He can fight against anybody. I've seen him spar the best of the best of the best. So, you know, there's going to be an upset somewhere on this card on Saturday night.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say the heavyweight fights probably don't go the distance. Let's hear from the fighters. I want to start with Jared Anderson. Jared, there's a lot of pressure on you just because everyone says, you heard Eddie Hearn and His Excellency has said it as well, Spencer Brown has said it, you're the future of the heavyweight division in this country. Do you enjoy that pressure? Do you feel that extra pressure?
No.
I love it, a man of very few words. What about the moment for you, Jared? Obviously, look, Riyadh season, you've asked for a big event, you've asked to be part of a big event, you are now a part of this one, you're one of the main faces here as well. How exciting is it to be a part of Riyadh season?
I'm extremely honored and blessed to be here. Just, you know, basking in the moment. This is an amazing car, amazing place to be. LA is an amazing place to be. I just know I'm going to show why I'm here and why they all say I'm the future.
Martin Bakole was put to you and your team. You accepted. Was there a reason? I mean, you could have had the pick of any other heavyweights. You said, yes, let's do this one. Martin Bakole, why?
They offered him. I told him I'd fight anybody who he was offering. He told me the top 18. I told him yes. It didn't matter who he said. I was going to say yes regardless. So they picked him. He's who I have to go through.
Obviously now you are with Sugar Hill Stewart. Obviously a fantastic trainer. What's it been like? Obviously he's tried to maybe change a few things, maybe get rid of some bad habits. What's it been like with Sugar Hill?
I just want to correct and let y'all know I am still with my head trainer as well. Sugar Hill is taking lead on this fight. He here right now. My head coach is at home handling the business. But regardless of that, he hasn't changed anything. He's only added to it. And that's what we lead with, you know what I mean? So just expect to see a better Jared of everything I've done and fixing some things. But we haven't had to change anything. We just improved.
Better Jared is a very scary proposition. Martin Bakole, you've been wanting big fights for so long. We've spoken before. You've been one of the, I think, most avoided heavyweights. Yourself and Billy Nelson have struggled to get the big fights. You get a big one now. You're smiling. You wanted this opportunity. Here you are in America. How excited are you, not just to be in America, to be fighting a big name in Jared Anderson?
Yeah, first I want to thank Excellency Turk, and I want to thank my promoter boxer here, Big Spence, my team, Billy Nelson. So, like I said, I always want a big fight, and Saturday night I'm going to face the best heavyweight in America, my first debut in America. I'm so excited.
You're both big punchers. You're both guys that stay in the pocket and like to trade. Are you expecting this one to go to the distance, or are you expecting to knock out Jared Anderson on Saturday?
I don't know if he will take my power. Let's see what he's going to bring on Saturday night.
He can hit as well. Do you think you can take his power?
I can take everyone's power. I'm a big man, machine.
If you do, and I know you won't look past it, but if you do, you've called out some of the big names before. If you get past Jared Anderson, who do you want next?
Everyone.
It's going to be a fight, this one. Potentially, I think, fight of the night. We are talking Jared Anderson versus Martin Bakole. Don't blink in that one. I don't expect that one to go the distance, as I do not expect this one to go the distance as well. Andy Ruiz, former unified heavyweight champion of the world, has been out the ring for 2 years, but I think we all know the best Andy Ruiz is one of the best heavyweights in boxing. Andy, it's good to see you, Andy. It's good to see you back as well.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's an honor to be here, especially from the long 2 years that I haven't been in boxing, but it's truly blessed to be here.
What's it like, Andy? I mean, you went over to Saudi Arabia. You were actually ringside for Israil Miller versus Daniel Dubois. You saw what Riyadh season was about. What's it like to be on a Riyadh season card for you?
It's amazing, man, especially from the 2 years off, like I was saying, and for Excellency Turkey giving me this opportunity. And, you know, I just got to show up and show out against Israil Miller. He lost over there against, when I went over there in Saudi Arabia. I know he's coming hungry. I know he wants to win, but so do I. I want to win. I'm hungry and I'm motivated. I'm physically ready and prepared. And we're going to do this, man.
Let's bring in Israil, Big Baby Miller. Israil, you laugh when I say Big Baby Miller. We know there's a couple of big babies here. Israil, what's it been like, Israil, since that defeat to Daniel Dubois? Obviously, look, I can see you're a lot slimmer. You told me you lost 50 pounds. You know this is do or die, and this is a must-win fight, right?
First, assalamu alaikum. I want to thank Brother Turkey for this opportunity. Gold Star, Papa Spencer Brown, man, for being a man of his word. One thing I can tell you about the sport of boxing, there's a lot of fakes, a lot of people that want to rob and steal from us fighters, and we put our life on the line. But what I've seen with this guy over here to my left, Brent Spencer, man, has really been a man of his word and a blessing to the sport of boxing as well as with Brother Turkey. One thing I can tell you about me is, though, I never run from a fight, never have, never will. Man, that fight with Dubois, yes, it was last minute. Wasn't 100%. You know, I was whooping his behind, and your boy just ran out of gas, man. And, you know, I never quit. And I took my ass whooping like a man, and I said, God, when I get out of this, it's going time for me to turn up and get back to my old self. You know, it's the first time I had a camp in 4.5 years, like a camp that's dedicated to myself. You know, I had my coach Sosa with me. I had the whole Philly team, the Dungeon, Bozy, Boots Ennis, you know, Coach Aaron, those guys really just put the pressure on my ass, man. And we just put the work in. And my brother Mike, it was my nutritionist and cook. Man, we dropped 40 pounds like it was nothing, man. I work hard. Don't get it twisted. When I'm in that gym, I'm busting my ass. So, like I said, the Dubois fighters woke up a demon in me, man. It woke up a demon in me that I haven't seen in myself in a while. And come August 3rd, I'm going to fuck Andy Ruiz up. Mark my word.
I believe you when you say it like that. Look, the concentration is on Andy Ruiz. That's your opponent. But look, the elephant in the room is there has been some back and forth a little bit between you and Jared Anderson. Is it because we're saying he's the future of the American heavyweight division? Is it the big baby situation? What is the situation? Can we clear it up?
Listen, I'm 9 years older than him. I've been in this game way longer than he has. I fought kickboxing, MMA. I've been all across the world. I've never been afraid of going to someone's backyard. They offered no fight with me. He turned it down. You know, my thing is with me, as much as I'm calm right now, I'm a real street kid that turned his life around. Like, I've done everything, I've sold everything, and boxing saved my life. But let's get something straight up. I don't run from nobody. You're not going to go on Instagram and clickbait and text me and type and do a little nonsense. And when you see me in person, you're going to run like a little bitch. We're not going to do that. I'm going to run up on you. I'm going to talk to you and say what I got to say. Then you're going to never look at me. You never look in my direction. Nobody's want no smoke with me. Believe that, because I ain't running from nobody. But like I said, ain't about it's bigger than the big baby name. You know what I mean? I don't think he getting past Bacoli. Even if he don't get past Bacoli, whatever happens, I want his ass next. Because Dubois and them going to have matchups anyway. So I ain't going to get Dubois and AJ right now, right away. So, you know, it is what it is. So when whoever get past his card, even if he lose, I still want to spank that ass. You know what I'm trying to say? Because he's really the crying baby, not the big baby. There's only one original big baby, and that's my ass right here in front of you.
It's going to lose. Before we move on, obviously, look, Israil, you're an experienced fighter. Do you have to make sure and be careful that you do concentrate on the task at hand, Andy Ruiz, and not Jared Anderson?
No, 100%. Like I said, I'm not even worried about him right now. You ask me a question, I answer your question. We all know we've been in camp training. You know, we focus on Andy Ruiz. You know, we going to, listen, man, I mean, that's the reason why I'm not on social media. I haven't been talking much. I just been in the laboratory working. I've been in the gym training. You know, I'm very vocal. I'm very outspoken, but there's no time for that. This time was for me to shut up and go in the gym and put in that work. And clearly you're going to see when it comes August 3rd, I'm having burritos and nachos, and I'm going to put an ass whooping on my boy. Ain't nothing, don't get it twisted, man. Like, ain't nothing but love between me and Andy, man. It's nothing but love outside of sport of boxing. But when we get in that ring, it's going to be a different switch, and I got to kick his ass. It's plain and simple. Belize and Mexico's going to be in the building come Saturday night.
Very good. I want to give Jared the right to respond on that. Jared, I know your head's down, but you heard what he said there, Jared. Is that a fight eventually that you want down the line?
Tell him when.
Tell him when, he said.
Man, listen, they offered you to fight like 2 months ago, and you had no
No,
one
they
to
didn't.
smoke with.
Stop capping.
Bro, ain't nobody capping nothing, bro. You softer than baby shit too, bro. So I don't even
Yeah,
try to
as
be
y'all
tough
can
up
see,
there.
he likes to talk. He's capping.
And I back it up. Still back it up.
He ain't got no proof.
Well, look, let's hope.
That's my son
Only
over there.
proof is him getting
That's a copycat. That's a copycat over there.
Only proof is him getting stopped.
You ain't fought now. You ain't fight one real heavyweight, Charles Martin, a 7-day notice almost whooped your ass. Now you got Martin Bakoli, who been in here, been in line in the jungle. Let me see how you gonna do. See how you gonna do fight real. Not no over 5 pound cruiserweight you've been fighting on Top Rank, been hyping you up. Let's fight a real heavyweight now. Welcome to the real big boys now.
Yeah, of course.
You're 30 fucking 4, B.
I think it's fair to say both of them get through their respective fights on Saturday. We might see the battle of the two big babies. All right, let's focus now on the WBA World Super Lightweight title. Isaac Cruz, the man to the right, will take on Jose Valenzuela. Let's start with the champion first. Isaac Cruz, it's been an incredible run for you. Obviously, you capped it off with that magnificent performance against Rolando Romero. What does it feel like now you are a world champion?
Entonces has tenido una serie increíble de resultados y victorias, coronándolo con la victoria contra Rolly. Entonces, ¿cómo te sientes? ¿Cómo has sido siendo campeón mundial en tu división?
Estamos muy motivados, muy contentos y bueno, venimos a defender exitosamente el campeonato del mundo.
We're very, very happy. We're very determined. We've got a goal in mind, and that is to defend this newly won world title.
What do you make of Jose Valenzuela as a fighter? We saw him last time out against Chris Colbert, I think, put in a fantastic performance. I thought he won the first fight between them as well. What kind of challenge do you expect Jose Valenzuela to bring to you?
¿Qué tipo de reto esperas de Valenzuela? Ha rendido bien en sus 2 últimas peleas, igual ganó las 2 veces. ¿Qué esperas de él?
Esperamos lo mejor, que venga muy bien preparado para dar una gran pelea y que la gente sea la ganadora.
We're expecting the very best from him, but the main thing is that I'm coming into this really well prepared and I'm intending to come away with the victory.
You have so many fans, Isaac Cruz. Everyone loves the way in which you fight. BMO Stadium, I think, predominantly will be your fans there. How exciting is it to be fighting co-main event against Jose Valenzuela, Riyadh season, in a stadium which will basically be for you?
¿Cuántas ganas tienes de pelear el sábado? Porque tiene una afición aquí muy importante, gran afición aquí en Los Ángeles de mexicanos. El estadio BMO va a ser increíble, ¿no? ¿Cómo son los pensamientos antes de esto, con todo este apoyo?
Tenemos muchas ganas ya, muchas ansias de subir y bueno, dar un gran espectáculo y defender el título ante un gran peleador y estamos muy contentos de presentarnos nuevamente ante mucha gente mexicana.
No, we can't wait for it to get started. We can't wait to climb into that ring. We know we're going to have a massive Mexican presence there. It's going to be fantastic to hear so many Mexican fans there. And we're going to put on a great show. It's going to be a great challenge, I know, but we're going to put on a show and it's going to be great.
And that challenge is against Jose Valenzuela. Jose, we spoke in the week. This is it, right? This is the opportunity you've wanted. A world title fight. You move up a weight class as well. You look fantastic. 140 pounds. Robert Garcia's obviously got you in fantastic shape. You're ready for this opportunity, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. You know, this is what I've been dreaming for my whole life, and you know, I had a great training camp, and I'm ready to make the most out of it.
Do you feel like you've got the style? Have you seen a fighter in the past maybe cause Pitbull problems that you have a similar style to? Do you feel like you've got the style to beat Pitbull?
Yeah, I think I got the height. You know, I got the length. You know, I got the skills. And I sharpened up everything, you know, to come prepared.
There's been a narrative going around that if Pitbull wins, it's by knockout. If you win, it's going to be on points. Do you feel like you can stop Pitbull?
I believe so. I believe I have the power to stop Pitbull or anybody, you know. With them 8-ounce gloves, you know, you get hit in the chin, you're definitely going down.
And final one, what would it mean for you to become world champion, Riyadh season cards? As Eddie said, one of the biggest cards, if not the biggest card we've ever seen in America. You're co-main eventing it. To become world champion, surely dreams are made of.
Yeah, it would mean the world to me, you know, all the sacrifice my parents did to get me here. It would be me paying them back.
Fantastic. Jose Valenzuela. Remember, Isaac Cruz versus Jose Valenzuela. Co-main event, WBA World Super Lightweight title on the line. The big boys are here as well. We're going to do face-offs, and as we do that, throw it back to the guys in the studio.
Guys, just wait over to the right.
Well, we expected Israil Miller to talk, but he didn't just go after one opponent, Sergio. He went after 2, as him and Anderson kind of stole the spotlight there for a minute.
You know the Brooklyn boys, man, they got a mouth on them, and they know how to promote a fight. He's a promoter's dream. Anytime Jared Miller is on a card. Just give him the microphone, let him run with it. I love the fact that Andy Ruiz stood out of it, and Jared Anderson actually just does his fighting in the ring.
And how about this fight, Sean? I mean, Anderson versus Bacoli. Bacoli is like, to me, just a monster in the ring. Just get out of his way. He's just going to wreck everything in sight.
I mean, look at this right now. He's just standing like, all right, do what you got to do, and then let's do this face-off. You know what I mean? I like that. And I like the fact that he's loosened up a little bit. You know, when he came in here, he was stone cold. Now he's a little bit loose. I like a loose fighter like that. Serious but loose.
Look, I think Jared Anderson's the more talented fighter in this matchup. We're really going to find out what Jared Anderson is made of, because Martin Bacoli is going to take him to a place that he's never been before. Martin Bacoli can crack. There is no doubt about that. And I don't think Jared's been hit by somebody with that kind of power. So we're going to find out if Jared Anderson really is the future of the heavyweight division in the U.S.
Martin Bacoli is going to test Jared Anderson's heart. I'm telling you right now, that's a scary man from the Congo right there. The heart of darkness.
Sean, what was the first fight that you were in that really tested your heart and you had to learn a little bit about yourself?
Man, and I got a draw. I came out with a draw, Julio Diaz. It was out here in L.A., and I came out of that one with a draw. It really grew me up. You don't want to have a fight like this against a man like Bacoli where you're growing in the moment, because he won't allow you to grow.
Cannot wait for that heavyweight showdown. And speaking of heavyweights and showdowns, Andy Ruiz versus Big Baby Miller, who's down about 40 pounds, Chris.
Yeah, Israil Miller really has cut down weight, 333 pounds for his last two fights. Says his goal for this fight is to come in under 300. Says his conditioning has been excellent. Believes he's going to be a much different fighter than the one we've seen in recent fights. But Andy Ruiz, he's going to test him here. Andy Ruiz is desperate to get back into that heavyweight world title picture. This really is a win or go home type of fight.
And those are the exciting ones. And look, I went on social media and I said how great these guys look, how fantastic shape they are. And of course, when you're 300 pounds and that big, people are going to ridicule you. I got criticized for it, but I'm telling you, I've never seen Big Baby Miller in that type of shape. I could say the same thing about Andy Ruiz.
And here's the one that's going to light BMO Stadium on fire. Isaac Pitbull Cruz, Jose Valenzuela. Sean, who's your money on in this one?
Oh, man. I don't believe that Isaac Cruz can be hurt. And if you don't have the kind of boxing ability that a Tank Davis had to move on him, manipulate him, make him miss, and make him pay a little bit the way the Tank was able to, you can't beat him. You know, so all that being said, I'm going for Ryo.
I agree with Sean.
There you go.
I agree with Sean that I don't think Isaac Cruz can be hurt, but I do believe Jose Valenzuela can outbox him. Look, Jose Valenzuela coming off that terrific win against Chris Colbert in his last time out. He's jumping up to 140 for the first time in this fight. And look, sparring's not everything, but in that Robert Garcia Boxing Academy, you can get some pretty damn good sparring. And one of the guys that Valenzuela's been sparring with for this fight was Oscar Duarte, who is as physical as they get at 135 or 140.
So just one more fight to get to here at the press conference. And coming up next, Crawford and Madrimov will face off live here in Hollywood. In the meantime, let's take you back to one of the most historical nights in boxing in recent memory from Saudi Arabia, KO Chaos.
I think it's my Muhammad Ali moment.
Anthony Joshua, Francis Ngannou.
It's Godzilla against King Kong. What happens when you hit Francis Ngannou and he doesn't move?
What they're doing here is taking boxing to the highest stratosphere.
It almost seems like we're living in a bit of a fantasy world.
And we welcome you back live here to Hollywood, California. You're looking at the TCL Chinese Theater, the site for today's press conference. We've heard from every fighter that's going to be on the card Saturday night except for two. And those are the two men competing in our main event, Terence Crawford versus Israil Madrimov for Madrimov's WBA welterweight title. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Todd Grisham, alongside Sean Porter, Sergio Mora, and, of course, Chris Mannix. Let's put everything we've seen behind us. Let's focus on the brightest lights. The biggest fight, Crawford versus Madrimov. a lot of people were surprised when this was announced as a main event. It kind of came out of nowhere. Kind of take us behind the scenes of how this fight actually got made.
Well, look, Terence Crawford has been in a state of limbo for, the better part of the last year. I mean, he beat Errol Spence last summer and had spent the months after that waiting to see if Errol Spence was going to exercise the contractual rematch clause to run it back at 147 pounds. That didn't happen. Then there was some talk about Sebastian Fundora. There was some talk about Tim Tszyu. Those fights came apart for different reasons. So now here we are at 154 against Israil Madrimov. And look, you can certainly make the argument that Terence Crawford is stepping right in against arguably the best guy in this weight class. Certainly doesn't have the accomplishments of someone like Tim Tszyu. Sebastian Fundora is a monster at 154 pounds, but Israil Madrimov is one of the best pure boxers. He is coming off the best win of his career. He is a young, in his prime, career-long junior middleweight that I think is going to give Terence Crawford some problems on Saturday night.
Sergio, correct me if I'm wrong, you won your world title, junior middleweight division.
Yes, I did.
What kind of athletes does it take to win a title at 154 pounds that does Terence Crawford have?
Well, I had to move down in weight to be the bigger man, but this is a naturally bigger man in Madrimov. He's a career 154-pounder. We know who's coming up in weight, and that's Crawford. Coming up from lightweight, I mean, he's going to be the smaller man, but he doesn't look like the smaller man. It's going to be a type of fight where we're going to see Crawford get rocked. We're going to see him get hit, finally. How is he going to react when he gets hit? How is he going to react if he gets hurt? Madrimov is one of these guys that if he has you hurt, he's going to take you out. He has that experience, and he can hurt you to the body and up top. He doesn't have to hit you solid either. They compare him to Golovkin. I think he's an athletic version of Golovkin with better footwork and just better angles. And if he catches you on an angle, I mean, it's going to be dangerous.
Sean, you've obviously been in the ring with Terence Bud Crawford. What would your advice be to Madrimov for him to have success? Like, what did you learn from your fight?
The number one thing you have to have with Terence Crawford is consistency. It starts mentally with Terence Crawford. You have to be consistent at the game plan, consistent at what you do well, and do not divert away from that. I've seen the highlight of my fight with him. In that moment, I literally just diverted away from what I was doing, consistently winning the rounds against Terence Crawford. So I'm here to tell Madrimov, this is going to get back to him. What you do well, continue to do that. Don't divert away from that. Once you do that, he's got you.
Yeah, well, Joel Diaz, the trainer yesterday, we spoke to him, and Chris was like, kind of give us an insight into your game plan. And he was like, we don't really have a game plan. We're just going to react to what Terence Crawford does. When you heard that, what did you think?
Look, it's a dangerous thing to try to adapt to one of the great adapters in all of boxing. And look, when it comes to Terence Crawford, I think the one question I have about him is this the fight where he starts to look a little bit older? He's only a month or so away from his 37th birthday. He has done a phenomenal job of beating back Father Time. Like, he is in shape, and he's coming off the best win of his pro career, but you can only delay Father Time for so long. Now, more likely than not, we're still going to see the best of Terence Crawford, but at some point, age catches up with you, and he's going up against a younger, stronger, physically, more naturally bigger guy. I think that's what I'll be looking for early on in this fight.
Madrimov said, look, I'm not really that big. I'm the smallest champion at 154 pounds. I'm not going to feel like the bigger guy in there. I mean, look at Terence Crawford. Do you buy that? Do you feel that Madrimov is actually going to be the bigger, stronger fighter in there?
Absolutely. I mean, especially once they rehydrate after the weight. I mean, he's a muscular frame. He's maybe not in height, but in frame. He has wide shoulders. He's strong. He looks like a little linebacker. And once he rehydrates 10, 15 pounds, that's when you're going to see how big he is inside that ring.
And I think the other side of that, too, is he has to be physical. It's one thing to be the bigger guy, but if you aren't, especially with Terence Crawford, if you're not allowing him to feel your physicality, your strength, he's just going to start to walk through you and start to play with you.
Madrimov versus Crawford. They'll be on the stage momentarily. There's been a lot of buzz this week from Turki Al-Sheikh, who's kind of leading the charge. That, listen, if he beats this guy, we want Canelo Alvarez next. It kind of reminded me a little bit of when Canelo moved up to fight Bivol, and people were like, hey, once you beat Bivol, maybe you can fight Usyk next. I'm kind of getting that feel. Is that something that's processed in your brain yet?
No, I think that might be a bridge too far, going from light heavyweight to heavyweight. That's 25, 30 pounds.
They were going to meet a cruiserweight. I'm just,
Oh, it's 25 pounds still, like at least. So I don't compare it necessarily to that. I do think if Crawford comes out of this fight looking as good as he did against Errol Spence, and if Canelo comes out of that fight with a big win against Edgar Berlanga in September, I think there's going to be a ton of momentum for that fight to happen, because even if you think that the fight is lopsided one way or the other, it is one of, if not the most marketable fights in all of boxing. The pound-for-pound number one going up against the former pound-for-pound #1. 2 top 5 pound-for-pound guys going at it. That is a can't-miss fight.
As if on cue, here are our ring pound-for-pound rankings. They've got Usyk #1, hard to argue there. Inoue 2, Crawford is 3, Alvarez is 4. Let's just say the, not unthinkable, but the improbable happens, Sean, and Terence Crawford is beaten by Madrimov. Where does he go on this list?
Where does he go on this list? You know, the thing about Madrimov, again, only 10 fights. You haven't been seen here in the States very much. You haven't earned the right to be in the top 10. However, if you beat Terence Crawford, we will see it we'll see it right there plain as day. There was something that he did special. We saw it, and we can say, oh, it's better than Errol Spence, it's better than Inoue, whatever the case may be, and we can arguably put him in there maybe around 7, 8, something like that.
I bring up that Bivol-Canelo fight again just because it's on my brain. But Bivol, the Canelo odds are very similar to the Madrimov odds that we're seeing here today. And after that Bivol fight, everyone was like, we should have seen this coming. Bivol was just too big, too long. What were we thinking? Is there a chance we're going to say that Sunday morning that, of course, Madrimov was going to win this fight? What's wrong with us?
I think there's definitely a chance. I mean, this guy is a real talent. He is an elite fighter at 154. I think the only difference, not to continue to pour water on your Bivol comparisons there, is that look, Canelo was on the way up. Like, he started his career in the 140s, and then going to 175. He did it once before against Sergey Kovalev, but that was a carefully selected opponent, the right opponent for him at that time. Bivol was an elite 175 who was just too big, too strong, too fast. I don't believe in this fight. Even though Madrimov is going to be the naturally bigger fighter, I don't think he's going to be too big, too strong, too fast for Terence Crawford, who has talked about it for weeks now. He had outgrown 147. Everybody talked about Errol Spence and how he outgrew the weight class. Terence is like, look, I think I was in worse shape than Errol Spence was at that weigh and cutting down to 147. So I think physically they're going to be comparable on fight night.
Agree?
A little bit. Listen, because I think Madrimov...
I can see his eye twitching. That's why I said his eye was twitching like
and here's
this.
why, because Madrimov is going to be the bigger fighter. You're going to see it once you get in there, not in height, but in size. But the footwork's going to be the difference. We talk about Bivol, and I'm going to bring the water back here. Bivol was bigger. He had a master jab. He had master footwork, and that's what gave Canelo issues. We don't know what gives Crawford issues because he never lost. But any fighter is going to be bothered by footwork and a jab and movement. If Madrimov comes out jabbing to the belly and stopping the movement, the upper body movement, and the switching from southpaw to orthodox of Crawford, that's when you know he has a game plan, and it's going to be tricky.
And the crazy thing, what you said, we've never seen anybody give Terence Crawford any problems. We knew that Canelo had problems with movers. We knew that he had problems getting past the jab. What does Terence Crawford have a problem with? I hate to, toot his horn and all those sorts of things, but he's really become a perfect fighter through his maturation process of becoming a champion, a pound-for-pound king in boxing, and it's really not much that can give him trouble now.
Well, all good things must come to an end sometime, Sean. Is Saturday night the end of the perfect fighter, Terence Crawford, and his perfect record? We'll soon find out. But right now, how about we send it to the OG of ring announcers, the legend himself, Mr. Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the world-famous TCL Chinese Theater here in Hollywood, California, USA, for the final press conference for the Riyadh season card, Los Angeles, brought to you by Riyadh Season and the General Entertainment Authority, promoted by Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing, Frank Warren for Queensberry Promotion Sella, and Gold Star Promotions in association with League One and World of Boxing. Ladies and gentlemen, special thanks to the custodian of the two holy mosques, King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud, the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, and His Excellency, Chairman of the General Entertainment Authority, GEA, Turki Al Sheikh. It all goes down Saturday night at BMO Stadium in Los Angeles. Let's bring the main event principals to the stage at this time for this final press conference. First up, Mr. Eddie Hearn for Matchroom Boxing.
By now you should have somehow realized what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do.
And next up to the stage, Mr. Spencer Brown for Gold Star Promotions. let's meet the trainers of the two principals in the main event. First, the trainer for the champion, Joel Diaz. And welcome to the stage, the trainer for the challenger, Brian Bomack McIntyre. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the fighters, both undefeated. Somebody's O has got to go on Saturday night. It's 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA Super Welterweight Championship of the World. Coming to the stage first, he's the fighting pride of Uzbekistan, all Uzbekistan. He is the reigning, defending, undefeated WBA Champion of the World, Israil, the Dream Madrimov. Here he is, the reigning and defending undefeated WBA Champion of the World, Israil, the Dream Madrimov. And next up to the stage, he's the challenger in this fight, recognized as pound for pound, the best fighter in the world today. He's the fighting pride of Omaha, Nebraska, USA, the former lightweight world champion, former undisputed super lightweight world champion, and current undisputed, undefeated welterweight champion of the world, Terence Bud Crawford.
One shot, one opportunity. Seize everything you ever wanted. One moment. What you capture, just let it slip. Yo. His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. His vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti, he's nervous, but on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down.
Here he is, the reigning pound for pound king of boxing, Terence Bud Crawford. And how appropriate that he enters to the music of Eminem, because Eminem will be performing on Saturday night at BMO Stadium. At this time, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Mr. Adi Oladipo.
The great Michael Buffer introducing Adi Oladipo. Incredible. Look, this is it, right? This is what we want. This is what we've been waiting for. Big fights, big events. And it doesn't get much bigger when the pound-for-pound star, the pound-for-pound #1, Terence Crawford, is in the building. And he takes on the unbeaten 154-pound WBA champion, Israil Madrimov. Boxing can be very complicated. Boxing also can be very simple. Put on good fights and good cards and people will turn up. Put on good fights and good cards and the fighters get excited as well. And I know both guys are very excited about what we can expect on Saturday night. Again, Terence Crawford bidding to become a full-weight world champion, already double undisputed, and looking to cause more problems in another weight class. Israil Madrimov wanting to prove that he will be one of the pound-for-pound future stars of boxing and will hold on to that WBA 154-pound belt. let's get straight to it because I think it might start raining. I want to come straight to you first, Mr. Spencer Brown. Look, this is an incredible fight card. I want you to speak to how this fight card has come about, Riyadh season. We've already seen some incredible events. This one might be the biggest.
Yeah, look, we discussed the putting a show on in America with our boss, Turki Al-Sheikh, and we didn't think it would go this big or it would go this extensive. But as we can see, for me, it's a world-class card. I've got to congratulate Eddie Hearn for doing it because he's the main powerhouse behind it, him and Turki Al-Sheikh. But we've also got to remember the people behind this, and they're going to put a lot of big shows on in America. This is just the start. This is just the start of what's going to happen. You're going to see some very, very big events, not just in Los Angeles, in Vegas, you know, in New York, in some of the biggest boxing places in the world. But he's got a vision, and the vision, one of his visions is America. So, you know, we've got to take our hats off to him, and we've got to thank as well, you know, King Salman, and we've also got to thank the Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, whose vision is boxing. He's a massive boxing fan, and his vision is for boxing. So, you know, hold on to your hats because there's plenty more to come. But to start with, I'm just so excited to watch this card at the weekend. I think it's going to be phenomenal. You know, there's legends here. There's people who you know, we'd never see in our lifetimes. You know, we've got a man sitting next to us here who, you know, he's unbelievable. He's just an incredible fighter, and I'm pleased to be sitting next to him. So I'm proud to be sitting next to him. But congratulations, Eddie. Congratulations, Turki Al-Sheikh, and his birthday's this week. So happy birthday, my friend and brother, and thanks for putting this great card on for us. Thank you.
Yeah, this is our first card in America. I can't wait to see what future cards are going to look like. Eddie, I want to come to you. Firstly, congratulations, Matchroom, an incredible event for your company to put on. But you've tried to put so many fighters against Terence Crawford, so many. Kell Brook, Julius Ndongo, Amir Khan, Ricky Burns. 4 fighters that have tried, 4 fighters have failed. Why will Israil Madrimov be the one to succeed?
Well, thanks, Andy. I know the rain is setting in, and Spencer's just covered everything we really need to. But again, our thanks, of course, to the Crown Prince, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. We've been through the undercard to what is the biggest night of boxing in the history of boxing in this country. Of course, as Michael Buffer said as well, throw in Eminem, and you've got a night you will not forget. I've just heard from His Excellency's team who told me the tickets are almost gone for Saturday night. We're going to be full to capacity at the BMO Stadium, live on the zone around the world, and rightfully so. Make one thing clear, it's an honour to be involved in this event. This is a Riyadh season event in Los Angeles. As we said earlier, Riyadh season was always going to be in Riyadh, October to March. Now Riyadh season is all day, every year, it's global, and the vision for boxing is incredible. This fight, for me, is such a wonderful fight. I mean, the guy to the right, Terence Crawford, you're right, he's a real frustrating guy. You know, he's so good. He even beat me at darts the other day, which was even more disturbing. But he's a great competitor. And for me, actually, I feel like he should be an American superstar. Because I think he's everything that's great about sport, everything he's great about competition, everything's great about the mindset, the preparation, living your life like a true great. And we should appreciate him while he's here, because when you talk about the past, the legends of the past, the generational greats, like Leonard, like Hagler, like Duran, Terence Crawford is all up at that level, and he will be remembered as a true great of the sport, and someone that didn't stop anyone. Now that's enough of the fanboy of Terence Crawford, because I want to tell you one thing that's very important. This guy to my left is a serious, serious, serious man. Since he turned professional and he came out as one of the best amateurs from Uzbekistan, we have been waiting and praying for an opportunity for him to show his greatness. No one ever wanted to fight him. They called him the young mini Gennady Golovkin. In my opinion, potentially better. A 154-pound wrecking machine. Not just with power and chin, with great movement, with great ring IQ, all the things that Terence Crawford has. And I know that Terence and Bomac won't overlook this man. Some of you guys are. I know that some people, we've got His Excellency's team, we're already planning the future. I'm telling you on Saturday night, this man is about to give everything. This will be the toughest fight of Terence Crawford's career, by no doubt at all. This feels so similar to when Canelo Alvarez boxed Dimitri Bivol. This guy's from the same kind of school. You guys respect him, you know how good he is. But when Dimitri Bivol won with ease, do not be surprised if this guy causes a huge upset on Saturday night to become the new pound-for-pound king. Uzbek power, Israil Madrimov, a whole country behind him. He will give you and the viewers around the world an incredible fight on Saturday night. He's a serious pound-for-pound talent himself. You're going to see a wonderful fight between two modern-day greats. Enjoy it. Good luck, Terence. Good luck, Israel. And lucky you guys, because you are going to be entertained on Saturday night like you have never been entertained before. Get there early, BMO Stadium, DAZN around the world. Enjoy a wonderful night of boxing. Two great fighters, two great men. Let's celebrate them.
Sold, Eddie. Take my money. Well done. I want to quickly bring in Vadim Kornilov. Look, I've known Vadim for a while. So many fantastic fighters, Vadim, in your stable. Obviously, you mentioned Dimitri Bivol, one of the best fighters on planet Earth. And now you have this man, Israil Madrimov, someone that you've worked with for a long time. Speak to what Eddie just said about how good, maybe for the American audience that don't know too much about Israil, just how good Madrimov is.
I think it's important to say, in addition to what Eddie has already said, is that every time there's an opponent or there's a fighter in the ring, it's about the package. And I've said this before to the press, and I think Madrimov is the package. And some fighters, you know, they're in the wrong stages of their career, or maybe they don't have enough power, or they're smaller for the weight class. This fight is two boxers who are a complete package, and it's going to matter who's got that little bit more to win the fight. So I think it's going to be very, very competitive, and I think Israil has done everything in camp. He's mentally here, he's focused, he's feeling great, and I think that everybody's going to be very impressed with his performance. And I just want to say that you know, everybody's been mentioned, everybody who's involved, but I just want to give a lot of credit to Eddie Hearn, Matchroom, Frank Smith, because they're going all over the world. They're finding guys, you know, from all over the world, and they're giving them an opportunity. And Matchroom has brought, you know, obviously World of Boxing started with Madrimov and Andrei Rybinski, but Matchroom has brought most of the fights for Madrimov. Most of them were in the United States. Israil has been living in India for 6 years, training and fighting. You know, a lot of his fights have been in the United States. And he's here because of everybody involved. You know, it's the promoters, it's Coach Joel Diaz, Ben Hernandez, Alik Frolov. It's all of our team. It's not only Madrimov, it's not only me or the promoters. It's the whole team that's brought this together, and I'm very thankful for that. And I hope that there's going to be more promoters that keep on doing this and bring these fighters and give them an opportunity all over the world to perform and show their skills at a level like this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It isn't just two world-class fighters that are going to duke it out on Saturday. It's two world-class trainers as well. In Joel Diaz, one of the best trainers out there, and Bomac, who's been doing incredible things, not just with Terence Crawford, but so many fantastic fighters as well. Bomac, firstly, congratulations on this journey with Terence Crawford. It's one that I've watched from afar for so many years, and I always felt like you guys never got the praise because all the other fighters were on the opposite side of the road. You've now went over to the opposite side of the road and whooped those guys' asses. And now you're here, you've got a fantastic opportunity. Speak to us about the journey that you and Terence Crawford have gone through over the years.
Well, man, you know, the journey has been a struggle at times. It's been fun most of the times. But, you know, I'm sure me or any one of the team members wouldn't want to change it because it builds character with inside the team. Besides, you know, I know we all excited and happy to be here, but we come here to do a job.
And so far, in all of your fights, you've done that job. This is a different type of challenge, though. This is Terence Crawford moving up to another weight class. We've seen him dominate at 135, 140, 147. This is now 154 pounds. Madrimov is naturally the bigger guy. As an amateur, he fought a lot bigger. What kind of challenge is it, moving Terence Crawford up a few pounds?
You know, the challenge at moving up to 54 and fighting Madrimov, going up against Joel Diaz it's a it's a hill that you got to climb. But I know that, you know, the team, everybody around the team, we want challenges like that. So you guys can say we're the best out there. And we have solidified that in the last couple of years, and we're going to continue it.
Are you staying at this weight class, Womack, or you may be making a couple more jumps?
Whatever. It don't matter. Put them in front of us, and we're going to get the job done.
Well done, Womack. And again, congratulations on all the success recently. Let's go to Joel Diaz. Joel, you know Terence Crawford very, very well. Obviously, we've spoken throughout the week. It's a fighter that you respect, but in Israil Madrimov, you feel like you have the fighter to get the job done on Saturday.
Well, first of all, I want to thank everybody that's here today, and I want to thank Team Crawford for giving us the opportunity. We're grateful to be here, you know, sharing the ring together. I want to thank Matchroom, Eddie Hearn, Riyadh Season, and everybody that made this possible. My team, my brother Antonio, Ali Prolo, Vadim, for bringing us, helping us be here where we're at. Coming down to the fight, all I can say is I'm going to be very brief. We have a lot of respect for Team Crawford, and we're grateful for the opportunity. But we train, everybody that knows us, everybody that knows my team, we train to win. We have been the B-side many, many times, and we get the victory. And I think Saturday night is going to be another one of those nights. A lot of people don't know Israil Madrimov. We all understand. But he needed this fight. He needed this opportunity so that the world can know him. And you guys are going to see what a great fighter, what a great athlete, and a person Israil Madrimov is. Thank you, guys.
Let's hear from your champion, the current WBA 154-pound king, Israil Madrimov. Israil, boxing is all about taking opportunities. It's all about having the big fights. This is an opportunity, and this is a very big fight. As we're a few days away, what are the feelings now as you approach the biggest moment of your career?
What's up, LA? Thank you for coming. I am happy to be here. You know, this fight, big chance for me. I am fighting best fighter in the world. It's my dreaming coming true. I feeling great, and then I want history, you know. Я делюсь с Кроуфордом и его командой. Я думаю, все будет честно и правильно, иншаллах.
I know that I'm fighting the best in Terence Crawford and his team, but I'm also, you know, fighting his fans and the rest of everybody. I just hope everything is going to be fair and neutral, and I'm just expecting that this event is big enough. The whole world is going to watch this event, and I hope that everything is going to be fair and square on fight night.
He didn't say all that. Stop lying.
I added.
Yeah, I thought there was a bit more extra translation there. But a bit more.
There is more to it. I actually cut it a little bit.
Okay.
I don't want to make anybody, you know, I don't want to take it the wrong way. We're at a presser. But there's more to it.
I'm sure, and I hope
everybody
understood
what I meant.
You meant refs and judges, and I'm sure the refs and judges will be fair on Saturday.
I think Sela is coming all over the world because they want the best to win. They're investing money, they're investing millions, because what's been happening in the business has got to change. There's just too much BS happening, and it's got to change. And the best man in the ring has got to win. And I think everybody agrees with that. And I don't think anybody wants to get decisions that they don't deserve.
Madrimov has been quietly confident in the last couple of weeks. Obviously, I sat down and did a face-off between Terence Crawford and Israil Madrimov, and he's a man of few words, but when he does speak, he speaks in loud sentences. Madrimov would have watched a lot of Terence Crawford recently. Why does he think he can beat the pound-for-pound number one?
Почему ты считаешь, что ты заслуживаешь быть номер один pound-for-pound? Ты много не говоришь, но почему ты считаешь, что заслуживаешь?
Потому что я уже долго путь шел. У меня 10 боев это достаточно, я думаю, для сделать историю, потому что я люблю сделать сюрприз. И хочу это сделать здесь, мой второй дом, LA. Я тренируюсь здесь, в Индии, и показать всем, я лучший боксер в мире, иншаллах. Ну, мое уважение к Кроуфорду, потому что он мой любимый боксер. Я уважаю его стиль, он хорошо боксирует, что он лучший боксер в мире, я считаю.
What he said was he's going to spank Terence inside 4 rounds. Sorry, Vadim. Go on, you did it.
I've had an extensive amateur career. I've been in boxing all my life. I know I have 10 pro fights, but I fought some good fights, and I've had some really good experience in the pro ring as well. I've had a lot of experience in camp. I've been living in India basically for 6 years. I've been spending time at the gym with the Diaz brothers, and I've been gaining experience there more than the fights. And with all the respect to Team Crawford, as I said before, he's my favorite fighter. But at the same time, I believe that I can prove that I'm the best in the world as well, and I believe that anything is possible. My dream is to create something that nobody expects, to do something and win the fight I'm not supposed to win, and I believe I can do that Saturday night.
Terence Crawford, here we go again. Pound for pound, #1. A different type of challenge, though, for you on Saturday, just because you are moving up to a weight class where everyone's expecting Israil Madrimov to be stronger, bigger on the night. What are you expecting from Saturday?
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank God for blessing me to be here today. I'd like to thank Team Madrimov for accepting the challenge. I'd like to thank Turkey for putting on a tremendous card. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out here and supporting all the fighters on the card. I'm expecting Israil to come out and do what he's been doing. He's been phenomenal in the fights that he's had, but a lot of people are forgetting that I punch hard and I'm strong too. You know, a lot of people is overthinking this whole fight. Like, he's the bigger guy, he's the stronger guy since I'm moving up in weight. But we always have them same questions, from Jeff Horn to Errol Spence to Benavidez, all these big guys, you know, that's naturally bigger than me. When they get in the ring with me, everybody say, wow, Terence Crawford is stronger than we thought. You know, and I think here Saturday, people are going to be saying the same thing.
At 140, your power was there to see. Everyone questioned whether or not your power would be there at 147. No one's gone the distance with you at 147. Do you expect that same power to carry up to 154 pounds?
Of course. Like I said, all fight weekend, I feel I'm going to be stronger. I'm going to be more energized. I don't have to lose the extra 7 pounds. So it's going to be less stress on my body. And I'm ready. I'm going to be feeling great. You know, I'm good right now.
I know what you're going to say when I ask this question, but I'm still going to ask it. Do you expect this to go the distance? I know you say you don't plan for knockouts, but they always seem to come. Do you expect this to go the distance, or do you expect to stop Israil Madrimov?
I expect to win, however it comes. Whether it's a knockout, whether it's a technical decision, whether he quit, whether it goes to the decision, I expect to win. At the end of the day, Terence Crawford will be in the new.
And the new, so far, no one has been able to disrupt that. Madrimov, just before we wrap, do you expect to be able to stop Terence Crawford?
Ну, я только на победу выйду на ринг, иншаллах, и у меня есть план. По плану я боксирую, двигаю, и результат от Аллаха. Все, что я умею, сделаю в ринге.
I expect to win. I expect to come in the ring Saturday night, follow my plan, box as we planned, and win the fight, inshallah. It's up to Allah what will happen. It's not up to me.
And still, and the new, your main event on Saturday, Terence Crawford bidding to become a 4-weight world champion and conquer a new division. Israil Madrimov looking to hold on to his 154-pound WBA belt. Both of these guys will now face off.
So our main event for Saturday night getting set to face off. We're just over 48 hours away from who many consider to be the pound-for-pound king, Terence Crawford, facing, let's be honest, a relative unknown here in America in Israil Madrimov as they get ready to come face-to-face for one of the final times. Live from Hollywood, California. Riyadh season hitting BMO Stadium. Live Saturday, exclusively on DAZN. Buy it now.
And you talk about the bigger fighter in this matchup being Madrimov. You look at these two face-to-face. Terence Crawford, Sergio, looks like the bigger fighter. He has filled out at 154 extremely well.
I say it all the time, if you have the height and you have the long shoulders, the wide shoulders, you could distribute that weight a lot better than if you're short and stocky and muscular. He's going to be equal in size with the step in the ring. Madrimov's going to be naturally muscular, though. He's going to have the rounder shoulders, and he's going to look buffer. But this isn't about muscles. You know, muscles don't win fights. Skills win fights, and that's why Crawford looks like a beast, sounds like a beast, and he's going to look like a beast.
Well, your eyes don't deceive you. Terence Crawford looks just as big, if not bigger, than Israil Madrimov. That could change if Madrimov puts weight on after tomorrow's official weigh-in tomorrow morning. Terence Crawford says, man, I don't even have to cut any weight. I'm good to go here at junior middleweight, 154 pounds.
Well, it makes him stronger. You know, it's like you said, less stress on the body. If you're a fighter, if you're a wrestler, combat athlete, then you understand the stress that you put on your body trying to lose weight. He doesn't have that stress anymore, so he will be stronger on fight night.
Let's show you what we have in store for you on Saturday. Things get kicked off in the afternoon here in Los Angeles at BMO Stadium, the home of LAFC, the soccer team. The prelim card, 2 fights, including Steve Too Cold Nelson, who fights out of Omaha, Nebraska, and trains, of course, with Terence Bud Crawford. Then it's our main card, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going 6 deep, including 2 heavyweight showdowns. But we get things started with the highly regarded Andy Cruz. Then it's David Morrell, another Cuban, who'll be fighting for the vacant WBA World Light Heavyweight Championship. And then Anderson versus Piccoli.
And that is a great fight. We're going to find out if Jared Anderson really is the next big thing in the heavyweight division.
And then Andy Ruiz versus Jarrell Miller, back-to-back heavyweight bouts. Then it's Mexico versus Mexico in the co-main. Pitbull's back against Jose Valenzuela. And then the main event, which we just saw stare down here at the Chinese Theater in Hollywood. So as we get set for our final thoughts here from the crew, one thing that kind of jumped out at me, Nadeem, the manager for Madrimov, was really harping on the judges. Normally I'm like, yeah, it's low-hanging fruit. Everybody can take a shot at the judges. But he almost made it seem like Crawford has been getting gift decisions. The guy stopped 11 straight opponents. And Eddie Hearn even brought up the Bivol-Canelo fight. Bivol got a fair shake from the judges. So I feel like that's just maybe trying to throw out some bad cards. How did you see it?
Well, you know, Team Bivol would tell you they didn't get a fair shake with the judges. Those 3 scorecards that are 115, 113, and they believe they won that fight significantly wider. I tend to agree with them. I thought that was a wider decision for Dmitry Bivol. That commentary by Vadim Kornilov was fueled by what happened last night in Santa Monica. Last night in Santa Monica, one of his fighters, Shakram Giasov, just edged a split decision in his fight. That was a fight that looked like, to our eyeballs, that he won comfortably. So they feel a little bit burned after watching Giasov have that kind of decision. So they want to make sure that they're at least out there, they're public about how they want to make sure this fight is scored fair.
I appreciate it. I respect it. I'm glad that he stepped up and said that. But one thing you got to understand about Terence Crawford, he's never been given anything in his life. Let alone, I've seen this man get robbed in his hometown of Omaha at the Golden Gloves. I know that thing is on the internet now. I was there. I saw it. You know what I mean? So he's never been given anything. I can guarantee you, we don't have to worry about the judges with this one. They're going to do the right thing.
No judges needed. I think we're going to see a knockout either way. Madrimov, yeah, I get what his team is saying. I get what the manager's saying. You got to put it out there in the environment. That way, the media could pick it up, and it could be on notice. We're not going to need the judges.
Yeah, well, we have one final day of hype, and that's tomorrow live from LA Live in downtown Los Angeles next to the Crypto.com arena, formerly the Staples Center. We all remember it as the Staples Center. But it will be the official weigh-in tomorrow night from Los Angeles. Until then, for Chris Mannix, the Latin Snake, and Sean Porter, I'm Todd Grisham. Scan the QR code on your screen right now to buy Crawford versus Madrimov, live from Hollywood, Saturday night.
August 3rd, Crawford versus Madrimov. How do you know you're the best? Is it the 40-fight undefeated streak? Dominating 3 divisions? Or is it that you're always looking for more? Facing an undefeated champion on the #1 boxing platform in the world, Crawford versus Madrimov. August 3rd, buy now at TAZN.com.